Good morning, Chairman. It's good to have you join us this morning.
Good morning, Cecilia. Good morning, everyone. And
Yes.
it's a pleasure to always be on channels this morning.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. I mean, the story out there, I mean, the release from NWFL board stated that clubs, I mean, week 5 games will be postponed. And people were trying to understand the reason behind this. I just talked about some of the reasons that was given and all that. I mean, clubs have been found wanting not to be able to comply with these directives. Why are they finding it so difficult to comply with these directives that was stated by the board before the game started?
We had a very long layoff from football.
Yes.
And during that period, we were in communication with all the clubs. And the media was also copied in our communications. Indeed, channels was always up to date as to the activities we were doing and the preparations we were making for the kickstart of the season. And before the kickstart, we had told them, we had shared with them the COVID protocol documents that we expected all the clubs to abide with and put in place for the matches to start. One of those protocols was that the clubs must do testing, for COVID before the league kicked off. Um, we got a report. They reported back 100% compliance, and that there was no everything 100% negative results. We took their words for it, and we started the league. But we also realized that this testing has to be continuous at intervals, just to be sure that the players are safe, the officials are safe, and more so when we now have this new variant of COVID, we needed to be sure that our girls are not put in any harm's way. So we decided again after the Christmas break that there should be another test, a second test in this case. But we began to see some things that were concerning and worrisome. The clubs were posting pictures online, and yet they were not sending us the results. They were not sending us the test results as we had demanded of them. They were also sending pictures to us. So we had to write to them again, stating what we had told them to do. Go and get your test done in a government-approved facility, in the COVID-approved facilities in your state. There's several of them in each state of Nigeria now. So nobody can say that we don't have any in our state. And we need to verify those results. The doctor has to sign it off. They have to put their telephone numbers. They have to put their email addresses, just so we can also review, evaluate, and then validate this result, calling these health officials where the tests have been done. Up till now, not one club has been able to give us this. I mean, the next best thing to do was just to say, look, we are going to put this league on hold until we are sure that the tests that we have are from sources that are approved by government, where they are from sources that are not doctored, they are from sources that can be verified, and they are results that we also on our own can validate. We also taking this result to health officials, government approved, that can also help to further validate this result before we can say that the league should commence, which is why we have had to postpone with 5 matches. And if we do not still get the compliance next week, we may have to also push and give a deadline. If we have any clause that still do not meet this deadline after the second round, we may have to delist the club from further continuation.
Wow.
You know,
Being a
from the
part
league.
of the league. All right, that's very, very interesting. And yeah, I mean, so what has the response been like since this postponement? Are you getting word from the clubs that they actually they started to do the things that they're supposed to do in terms of the testing?
Well, we want to give them the benefit of the doubt to say perhaps they didn't understand the instruction, perhaps they didn't understand our directives, but although it was very clear that do your test in a government-approved hospital, send us the results, the evidence that these tests were done, the evidence that the results are correct, the evidence that these results were not doctored in any way. And what we have had so far are just pictures, and pictures, don't
Yeah.
tell us anything.
It's not concrete
So
enough.
we need, Yeah, we need to see the document that has told you that you've tested these players, your officials have been tested, and that this is the result. And this result can be verified, giving us the details of where these results were carried out, and so that we can also do our further checks.
Yeah. Okay. So I just want to ask, I mean, going forward now, you already talked about the new variant, which is a lot more contagious and all of that. So what's going to be the standard protocol going forward in terms of the testing? Is it going to be daily before games? Is it going to be twice a week? What is the situation with that?
Well, for now, what we are concerned about really is to get this one out of the way.
Out of the way, okay.
Going further, we would have to be doing continuous testing. How frequent, we will have to determine that. It is not something that I can take off now, but you can be sure that we will be doing frequent intermittent testing, as required by the COVID protocol. And also, we must understand that COVID is here. We want people to take personal responsibility. Take personal responsibility for your safety and for the safety of the other person. You travel across Nigeria. You are meeting with other players, meeting with other officials. If we have one positive case, then we may have to review. COVID is nothing to be ashamed of. It is not a disease that is abominable. It's a global disease. It is. We have been told how to make each other safe, and the protocol to put in place to make sure that if infection is minimized.
Yes.
Where we cannot eradicate it, where we can have control of it, and if we do this testing and we find that there are some positive results, we know what to do. We will evaluate. We will quarantine. We will isolate. The league can go on break for a while until we do another test where everybody will now be proved negative, then the league can continue. No life is what puts at risk for football. And this is what we are trying to make them understand. We must not play football by all means. Health and safety is of paramount importance. It takes precedence much more than any other thing.
You're spot on, totally correct, absolutely spot on, Chairman. We need to go on a break now. We'll come back, we'll continue this conversation. Join us again.
Oh, he's the secretary, Hakim Rabiu Okikio Post. Rabiu Okikio Hakim A-A-W-F.
You're welcome back to Channel Sport this morning. We still have Aisha Falode, the chairperson of the Nigerian Women's Football League Premiership, talking to us this morning about the postponement of Week 5 games because teams have refused to adhere to COVID-19 testing protocols. Let's continue this conversation. I mean, just saw highlights from one of the previous games played right here in Lagos. And I spotted quite a number of fans in that game. And I mean, of course, the law still states that no mass gatherings allowed at these stadiums or any sports venue for that matter. What are you going to do, or what are you going to do going forward as about the fans in terms of keeping them away from these players who must have been tested and obviously returned negative results, but then these fans, you don't know where they're really coming from. You don't know their status as well.
You see, there's we cannot be at every game. We cannot be at every game to enforce this protocol. All we can do is to keep talking about them. The fans that you have seen in the stadium are negligible. They are fans of that follow the team. These are not fans that are spectators. They are a handful. COVID protocol still says we can gather, as many as 50 people with a marginal, increase. But we keep, we have kept preaching the message to the clubs that empty stadium is still the best for us. So to keep the players and officials safe, even when you have the fan, where you have the fans in the stadium. If you notice, we have, the clubs have tried as much as possible to be sure that there's no contact between the fans and the players. And this is the message we still continue to preach. See, there's a part for every one of us to play. I can wear my mask, I can wash my hands, I can, social distance. If you are not doing the same, I'm still at risk. You are at risk, I'm at the next person is at risk. It's a chain. So we need to educate our people, just like we're doing with our clubs now, that look, if we have a case of anybody testing positive, the work we are going to do will be, it will be so cumbersome that it would have just been best to have, abide, by the
laid down guidelines.
Protocols.
Yeah.
The guidelines that were given, it would have been cheaper for everybody. If we have to now do, quarantine, isolation, contract history, it put the whole league in jeopardy, which means that what we are trying to do now is just to set the pace and set the standard, that the clubs must take personal responsibility. They must help us. They must help themselves. It takes it takes you and I for us to be healthy. You have to do your part. I have to do my part. I'm doing my part now by telling you what to do. And if you do not do it, I've told you there is sanction, there's consequence. If you have, if you've submitted a result, that if we verify that that result was doctored in any way, we are going to delist you from the league, because that is deception. You have deliberately put some players at risk. You have deliberately put officials at risk. You have deliberately spread contamination of COVID. These are serious, serious consequences. And the clubs must understand this, that the COVID is real. COVID is transferable. We have been told how it is transferred, and we have also been told what to do not to transfer it. So the onus is on us. It's on you, it's on me, it's on everybody to keep each other safe.
Okay, a final question from us before we let you go. How sustainable it is for the clubs? We know that we have some private clubs in the league and all that. I've spoken with the owner of Dream Stars. FC Robo also has some of those clubs, owned by private individuals. How can they carry out testing regularly? Because Dream Stars said they carry out testing before each game. That's what they do, and they spend over ₦1 million, once they are carrying out each testing before a particular game. How can this be sustainable? And will the NWFL board want to assist, or maybe NFF or the sports ministry, in helping out with some of these clubs who don't have the financial buoyancy to actually carry out this testing regularly?
You see, we want the clubs to be very, very aware of the claims they make. Sometimes a club cannot tell me that they've been carrying out COVID testing every week before each game. That is just not possible. It's not possible. If they carried out a test, where are the results? If you carried out the test, where is the proof to show that you carried out this test? I just told you now that the directives was given. Not one club has sent to the NWFL Secretariat the results of the test that they did. They have sent us pictures. Pictures are just what they are. They are visuals that you look at, and it doesn't tell you anything. It doesn't validate anything. It doesn't tell you. It doesn't give you what you want.
Okay.
So if a club is telling me they've been doing testing every week, and I'm telling you, go and do this one, and you still have not submitted results, and we have had to postpone matches, we've had to postpone 1 week of matches because there's been no compliance. If you have been able to do it weekly, why not this once?
Okay.
So from this point on, we want the clubs to be very, very aware of the claims they make, because from now on, we are going to be validating these claims and also doing